is the building that we started with, everyone, and our whole idea was to convert this ugly old single car garage into a beautiful little shop, or a HQ, meaning our headquarters for Nelson Soapery. So basically that's what we started to do, and you can see here the amount of work that we've already started. So the whole idea was to make a whole new floor, to make frames for every single wall. We also had to remove the garage door, because obviously it has a roller door on it. It is a garage, and we wanted to put a door and so on. So this was about 4 months in the making. That was from the designing process, understanding the materials, and then of course to get into the building work. So my husband is an engineer, and he is very meticulous, so he actually did design most of it, and obviously I was a little bit picky to choose things that I certainly wanted in there, and then of course we needed to call up lots of other people that we knew, and we were really lucky that everyone was really happy to help us. Now, I got this idea from watching another lady on YouTube. She actually bought a pre-made kit, but we just didn't want to do that. We wanted to convert something that we already had. Now, this building is over 75 years old. It's a really old building, so it's had many generations come back and forward. They've left their mark, spray painted walls, chipped bits out, you name it. So we had to do a lot of work, all in the foundation first. So the roof I'm showing you here, my son is actually a roof tiler. So he first came, he was the first tradie on the job, so to speak. He actually came and re-grouted the roof and just fixed up any marks or any possible oldness, because, you know, obviously being so old, they, you know, we needed a lot of work on the tiles as well. The roof, the silver bit you can see, that's called skarking. Roof tilers actually use that, and he said, look, this will be really good for the heat, because in Australia we get over 40 degrees Celsius, so we needed to do that to start with. Of course, we do later on put lots more things in the roof to help, of course, but for now that's what he designed. So now you can see we have decided to put down the floor. We actually used what's called a yellow tongue, and that's basically just going on top of the frame that was already made, that my husband actually designed and made, and then of course, you know, he had to put that in. Now the black screen that you can see on there is just a screen we decided to put up, because you wouldn't believe it, we had everyone sticky bodying what we were trying to do, which we don't mind, but we thought, look, we'll just put it up just to sort of stop anyone trying to come in, because of course we had to remove the roller door. So then the front section was all open until we got to the next stage of coming up with a solution. Now look at this, isn't it cute? From 1971, someone had etched their name into the wall, and then there was another name or year under that. So I thought that was really adorable. I was born in 1972, so it was even before I was born. So I thought that was sweet, and it just does show the amount of generations that have come through here, because we've only had this house about 6 years. But anyway, I just had to put that in the video because I know a lot of you will also find that adorable, and it just goes to show, you know, when you get an older house, you can have some history and something really amazing to do with that. And I hope later on somebody else sees this and realizes the love that we have done. And if they ever pull down the walls, they will actually see that still engraved into, you know, of course, the walls. So we ended up having to get so much wood. I mean, I was actually shocked. I'm going to be honest. The wood was $1,500 just for the wood to frame it. And here is me. I mean, obviously I'm not a builder, but I thought, oh, $2,000, the whole build can be done for that. I had no idea the amount of work, because I thought, look, we've got a pre-existing building. Surely there's not going to be that much work to be done, but I had no idea. So obviously lots and lots of work had to be done. And my little dog, Peaches, she kept investigating the whole way along this build. She is so funny. And you can see the back door there, that ugly door. One of my daughters says, look how terrifying that door looks. And somebody must have thought along the years it was a great idea just to spray paint and not worry about anything. But of course, we are going to put another door there, and you'll see a little bit later what we decided to do. So there was just, you know, like I said, so much to do, and just, yeah, crazy. So here you can see my husband hard at work. Of course, again, you can see he's already created the framework for the wall. And then basically both sides, both ends had to also create some more framework. Now here he is outside. He had already measured everything, and these pieces of wood are going to make the frame for the wall. So he literally made them in front of our house. So we do have a round sort of driveway. We have two driveways, which we were really lucky. So one of them is like the shop driveway, and one's going to be our normal one. It fits about 5 cars in our drive, so it's very, very handy. But anyway, he used this just to put all the pieces together, and then of course nail them and just make sure they were all together. And once we made it out here, then we actually lifted it and of course nailed it and everything to the wall or whatever he needed to do on the inside. As I said, I am not a builder, so I'm sorry if my terminology is wrong, but you know, so many people have messaged me, over 500 actually, probably 500 or more messages saying, oh, we really want to see the build. So we've kept all these videos, joined them together, and of course I am doing the voiceover for you all. But like I said, you can see that he's just adding all of the framework together. And it drove him crazy that I kept filming him. So outside here, now he's cutting lots of different bits of wood that we needed along the way, because as you can imagine, there were so many different cuts and so on. And woodwork is his hobby. He really does enjoy making things, even though I'm always giving him something new to create. We have done many videos with him in it, making things as we've gone along. And this is at the back of our house, so we have like a decking that he built and so on. Now here is the insulation. This is going to be key to making this building nice and cool, and of course warm in winter. So you can see now most of the framing has gone up. He's done the roof, the side of the walls, and it is looking really, really good. So here is the build on the inside, as you can see. So we have started putting some of the skarking at the front of the building. We've also started putting at the top. You can see some wiring now has been done as well, which is super cool. We had to wait for all the right trades to do the right thing, of course. And so that's going to be for the downlights. So that was super exciting to get everything happening, and I could kind of feel the vision at this side. You know, when we first started, I was looking at the building saying, oh my goodness, this building is so old, I'm just not sure, because I knew I wanted a really luxurious pink, gorgeous kind of you know, zone for myself. So but it's really did start to come together. So basically you can see in the corner that I'm pointing to here on the left, that's actually where the door is going to go, and in the middle is going to be a window. But because of supply and demand, we had a huge issue getting the window, so we ended up just boarding everything up. But we will cut the window out in the new year, but at this stage it's just sort of boxed up. But I'm sure everyone won't mind. It still looks lovely, but like I said, there will actually end up being a window in there. We have the security alarm and everything, which is in the end corner, because that's actually what my husband does do for a job. He is an actual electronics engineer, I should say. And so in here they actually design security, the company he works for. So that's why that one is there. So that was super handy for me. And you can use a remote to control it and everything, so it's, you know, very, very good. But you can see here lots and lots of work has been done, and we literally were awake at most days at 6 a.m. My husband started work at 8:30, and he's been working from home some days because, you know, during COVID that's just what they decided to do, and they've kept to that, which is quite handy. And so, yeah, so we literally worked from 6 to about 8, and then he had a shower and went to work. So crazy. And then after work at 7, after dinner, we were back out here until midnight, almost every night for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. So yeah, it really took over our lives quite a lot. But at the same time, like I said, you know, we really have enjoyed doing this project. I think it's came out better than we really imagined it would. Even my husband said that the other day, that he is really happy with the end result, and I know you're going to be excited as we go along at the video. And and also the materials, we just got this from our local hardware store, Bunnings. I know we could have got some things cheaper elsewhere, but we just didn't really have time, because the time everyone finished work and then we went to get supplies, that was really close. It was like 4 minutes from our house. So we said, look, we're just going to go there and get that done. So now you can see the framing on the roof as well, and we needed that because obviously we need the plaster to go onto that. The building was too old just to decide to like paint the rafters. That was also a thought, but then we just realized it's just not going to look as good as a nice neat plasterboard with downlights in it. So that's why we decided to do the roof at that level. It did bring the roof down a tiny bit, but we really didn't mind. It's okay. So now you can see here, we had started doing the insulation. So much work, and if anyone has ever used this, it's itchy and a horrible job. So my husband did do a great job, because I said I don't really want to do that. I would have if he wanted me to. But anyway, he said, look, let's open the bag so you can see how much it expands. It expands crazy when you open up these bags. And then, of course, we had to insulate everything. And also the roof, we had to use a different insulation, because your roof gets hotter than the walls. So then the insulation, we had to use a double, I think actually triple amount for the insulation. So once that was all done, you can see here we have started plastering, and now you wouldn't believe it, everywhere we went did not have the huge plasterboards that we wanted. We wanted to get the really massive ones so we could literally just put it on the roof, no joints. Of course, typical our luck with supply and demand, nobody had any. I think there was one left. So, and I went to several different stores, several hardware stores, nobody had any. They all said supply and demand. There was none. Now Peaches is here once again investigating. She loved coming in and being a little sneaky to see what was happening. You know, there was too much change for my little tiny old dog, so she anyway kept coming in. But anyway, I knew you'd all love seeing her in there. She's a bit of a sweetheart. So here you can see some of the plasterboard has gone up. It's, you know, this is really honestly when I sort of really felt that it was looking like something, because before that it just seems like it's so much work behind the scenes, foundation and so on. But as my father-in-law said, a good foundation makes a beautiful building, and he's absolutely right. So we just had to get it all perfect and had to get it all right along the way. So once we had the boards down and some plasterboard up, Peaches actually loved it. She kept coming in and trying to take a seat inside. So very, very cute. She definitely was adorable. And now you can see it all starting to come together. Like I said, very exciting. And you know, all the walls had to be done, of course, because this is the whole inside is going to be done, and of course the roof too also had to be done. So now here we are getting up to putting the roof on. Super exciting. My daughter Pearl is here helping, of course, and then my husband at the other end. Everything had to be measured several times, but we all know that just a part of what has to happen, isn't it? So we had to measure everything here, and then of course cut the boards to the right length, and then of course we had to all put the boards up, which was just so much work. So here what he's doing, this is actually called stud adhesive. So this is going to help the boards connect first, and then of course they do need to be screwed in as well. But the first thing to do is of course just popping this. It has a weird smell and it is a bright sort of green product, but that doesn't matter as long as the roof goes on and stays on. That was my only concern, making sure it's going to be all beautiful. And that funny piece of wood, which is like a tea piece of wood, my husband actually made that. Lots of places actually use them. So basically one person will hold the plaster at one end, and then that tea kind of holds it up at the other until, you know, it's screwed in place and in the right place. So that's what we had to do for that. It was a real joint effort. My daughter Annie did not want to get on the roof. She was not keen, so which was fine. So she ended up going here so that she could hold Peaches, because Peaches just kept running around everywhere. So now you can see my daughter Pearl, she is actually holding one end of the roof. I ended up holding the other, and then Annie ended up holding the T sort of bone that you can see there, you know, the T piece of wood, which obviously, you know, holds up the roof and helps the whole thing. I am filming this bit, so I did get out of a little bit of work, but I'm sure that you will all understand. So now here we are, of course, at the start of the building. We thought, look, we will just show you a little bit more of, you know, exactly what we're up to, and let's go inside and see what's happening. The plastering, we have finished it. So now we have just stopped up the plaster, which is basically just, you know, putting, it's like a plaster, sort of a wet plaster, and then you have to grout it, you know, straight onto the wall or trowel it onto the wall. Then once that's dry, then it has to be sanded. And I can tell you, this was the job we did not love. The plastering was one of the hardest jobs. So I take my hat off to any plasterer. They absolutely deserve to be paid a huge amount of money, because this was a lot of work, so much work, and it was messy. And honestly, it was really hard to get the plaster to a stage where there wasn't lumps and marks and things like that on the wall. But it was our first time plastering, so we said, look, who cares? It doesn't matter as long as it looks neat. So as you can see, so much work with the plasterboard. Even though it's only a small building, still a lot of work. So my husband decided to call his dad and ask him to come in. So my father-in-law, his name is Peter. So Peter ended up coming out to our house to help. He does live nearly 2 hours away, so it was lovely of him to come out and help. So he actually helped with some plastering, also measuring for the downlights. Those holes you can see for the downlights to be pulled through. So that's what's going to be happening next. And then of course they started doing the trims in the pink before we painted. Now this is actually an undercoat. We actually tinted the undercoat as well, just to give it more of a pink vibe, because we all know that's what I want, just the pink vibe. But to start with, when I seen it, I was really excited, because I kind of felt like it is now starting to be pink the way I like it and what I wanted. So once we had done all that, the walls were pretty much finished. Then my husband now started doing the flooring. Now we bought this flooring. It was a more of a higher grade flooring. It is like an adhesive one that you stick down, but it's not a cheap one. So you can get ones from $23 a packet. This one was $100 a pack. So much more expensive and time consuming. Now my son JR come back with his car to pick up all the concrete sheeting. That's to go on the front of the building, even though we haven't got around to that bit yet, but we got him to come and help us because we couldn't fit it in on my van or my husband's car. So that was nice of JR. And now on to a next thing that we had to do. I had to make a counter. I honestly couldn't afford a counter, so my daughter Pearl helped me sand back some old tables that I had. These are actually a wood cutting board, so these are just like that would go in your kitchen. We've joined two of them together, and then you'll see that we're going to board them up in a little bit. So here is some paint in here that I am using. This is actually going to be for the door trims and the skirtings that go around the shop. So this one's colour is a Taubman's colour. It is called Lauren's Lullaby, but I did add an extra little bit of pink in because typical me, I wanted to make sure it was pink. Now here, this is the trims that I'm doing and the skirtings. It has to have several coats on it. We actually did use 3 different pinks in the end. I think one was called Bed of Roses, one was called Lauren's Lullaby, and I think there was another one called Rosie. So they're all sort of, you know, variations of pink. Now here is the counters that have been painted. Pearl's having a rest now. We both did paint the top and she helped me sand them all down. The idea is to join them together and then of course make some trims at a later date. So here you can see my husband is actually fixing the door. So he had to end up putting the new door handle in. I ended up choosing a beautiful brushed gold just to give that gorgeous, luxurious kind of look. And this is the start of our shop. We expect things to change as we're going along as well. So, you know, you always change things, don't you? Now, my husband had done most of the work. We let him have a rest, and here me and Pearl are setting up the shop. So this actually, you wouldn't believe it, this took us nearly 7 hours just to set everything up because we had to pull everything from one end to the other. These big shelving units, we had to put these in. Like, there was just so much work to put all these in. So basically, once my husband and my daughters and myself, we all sort of worked together to get all of this happening. We ended up just stacking all the shelves, and then we do have a beautiful pink bulkhead that you'll see at the end that my husband actually made when I used to have a warehouse, and we kept it, and that one goes at the top of these cabinets. Now I do have a beautiful pink trim that does go also in the middle of each of the units, and they'll run sort of vertical down, but we haven't added that in. We just haven't had time, but that will definitely happen. So like I said, I thought you might like to see this. This was kind of one of those things of, we just kept putting things on a shelf, and then the next day we said no, we didn't like that, we took it off, but we just wanted it to be a nice environment to shop. Pearl is dancing as she's going along. I have left a few of these in. I told her I'm going to leave a few boo-boos in because, I mean, we've all got to have a laugh, friends, don't we? But my daughters, my younger daughters in particular, they did an amazing job. So Pearl's 18, now she's just turned 18, and Annie's 15, and the two of them were a really big help helping me. In particular, Pearl did so much work helping me. I think she actually really did enjoy it. She is off to uni to start her uni course to be a doctor in late February. So it was nice for her just to do a crafty kind of thing with me in here. And like I said, she did enjoy it. So a big thumbs up to Pearl for helping her mum. Now, like I said, we had to put these units in. I did have these originally in my old studio, so they all needed to be cleaned down and everything else. And we had a bit of fun. We chose those frames that I'm showing you there. That is actually an A5 frame. I just designed on Canva, you know, what I wanted to go in it. It's like a flyer, and it actually has a price on it, so I didn't have to price every item. And somebody can see that sign which just says soap, and then it will just tell them the price, so they know all the soap is the same. And it's good to try and keep things really easy. I mean, you don't want to have 8 different soaps and they all have different prices. It's better just to average your price out. And it just stops people, like I said, you know, having to kind of second guess, is that one more expensive than that one? And people do get upset if they get to the counter and one of them's 50 cents more than the other. They really wouldn't be happy, and I don't blame them. So sometimes, you know, you have to think of things like that. But that was my idea of just pricing it easily. Many years ago, I worked at an English-styled department store, and that's what they did, is had frames, and I remember that, thinking that was a great idea. So anyway, so then that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to do those. There are some things in the shop that will have love hearts, and then the love heart has a price on it to make it nice and easy for everyone. And as time goes on, I will get a square. I'm going to get the square bigger machine. I have the one on my phone, and I have the small square. Maybe I'll look into Shopify a later date, because I do use Shopify for my site. But I mean, they're just things to work out later. I mean, the main thing, honestly, isn't it, is just getting this up and going, because I mean, as you all know, it's just been such hard work. But honestly, this was satisfying, cleaning this up, stocking the shelves. It was really satisfied. Honestly, I actually wanted to cry because I felt so proud at the end that I had achieved this little shop. And it doesn't matter if I don't get one customer in every day. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I get one customer a month. To me, it just made me feel like I had got to the level I wanted to get to. And that's the thing. You may want to build this just for yourself, just for a hobby. You may not be building it for anyone to come in. And over this process, I have to tell you, I've had quite a few wholesale customers say to me, oh, I've seen your videos and wow, your products really shine. They said, I didn't really notice so much before. So isn't that interesting, just having a shop or a little area, not even a shop, even if it was just a room, looking a certain way, people seem to think your products look more expensive and they look more shelf worthy. So I did think that was really interesting, hearing that kind of side of it. Now, also, if any of you don't know how to style shelves, it's really important to make sure that you do levels. Most of you probably know that I've studied interior design, and a part of that is understanding even things like this. So, just how to, create an environment that looks inviting and so on. So, and that's also for customers. So we made sure that we made little pyramids out of the soap in shapes of sort of pyramids to build some parts up. Some bits are lower, some are higher. We tried to keep lots of the soap together so that if someone was looking for soap, they were all in a row. And it did work, because on the opening day, we had people loading up lots of soap. So, and that way they could literally choose 6 or 7 they wanted and just purchase them all in a go. So, if you're thinking of moving things around, you definitely can, but sometimes things like this made it super easy. So now here is a video of us, just showing you a few of the shelves. Of course, I did change things. I did move things around, and we have other plans to have other images made up, so I'll probably end up getting a big image of me making the soap or something in time, but for now it was really just about getting the door open, because sometimes you just need to get the door open. I had several people saying they really wanted to come along and see everything, so I just knew I could change and alter things as I went along. Now, when we did this, the shelves are IKEA. So there is 4 on the right-hand side. There is 4 large ones that go right across, and then the counter is at the back. Then I did have 2 on the other side. I had 2 smaller ones. Now, my plan was I actually had 3. I did buy 3. But the problem with the 3 that I had, it just looked too tight in the area. I thought it looked messy, so I decided to only keep 2. And then, of course, I have the spinny racks. These spinny racks that you can see here, I will leave some links for where I've got everything as well below. They are actually from eBay. They are called sock spinners for anyone that's actually wanting to get something to spin around. So I've got my earrings, keychains on them, also card diffusers, and also some little hanging ornaments that I actually made. So, but you could put, you can also put your wax melts and things like that on there as well, or anything that you want to put into a bag like that. So that's what you can definitely do, and yeah, they worked really, really well. So I hope you love what you see so far. And at the very back near the door, that's where the window is going to be in time, but as I said, we just could not do that. Now here is opening day, my very first customer and her little boy. So here is the store. I thought I would take you in and give you a quick look at what it looks like so far. So it is looking beautiful. We have had the opening. We did super well on the opening. Lots of people reached out, and I was really, really proud of the amount of people that reached out. By no means, is this going to be a place that's going to be packed with people? Absolutely not. It's definitely not going to be like that. But if somebody wants to just come in and sniff sniff and smell and see what everything's like, then of course they can come in, or if they just want to come in and say hi, of course they are welcome to come in. So here is a little look around. You can see it is all beautiful pink. The door is a darker pink than the rest, and the outside will have a few bits of trim. We have not done the outside at this stage. That will definitely be in the new year because as you can tell, this was just so much work. But I thought you may like to see the shelves and just how we're doing it at the moment. Look, we may come up with something different. We're always learning. We do need to put the trim in between these little white lines that you can see on the shelving. That's going to have a pink trim on it. We've already got it. We just haven't had time to put it on the shelf. The same as the little wood bit that you would have seen there. That's got to be painted white. So there's always little bits that I have to fix. We have sold out of quite a lot of things, so I definitely need to get onto that. I don't have many candles in my standard or medium candles. I have the tins, but I had made lots and lots of those. They're definitely the most popular. You can see the lip balms are all gone. We have sold out of every single lip balm. I have nothing left, no tubes left, so we definitely need to reorder new ones of that. So that's been a bit crazy. And here is just, like I said, a look of all the products and what we've done. Thanks for watching, friends. I hope to see you on the next video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Bye.